Luke here for Following Strength. We are joined by the latest athlete confirmed for Europe's strongest man, Ben Glasscock. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Excited. It's a good announcement. That I'm quite fond of it.
I bet. Redemption time. Just before we hit record, you text me and said you find it weird when we talk on Zoom professionally when we talk relentlessly all day anyway. Um,
Yeah,
but maybe that will come across in the interview because it's less formal. Um,
maybe.
how are you feeling about Europe's then, mate?
Um, yeah, good. Like really positive. When I saw the events come out, whenever it was, a couple months back, I was like, "Oh, they would have suited me way better than Britain's Strongest Man." So, yeah, that's a good set of events. Obviously, some of them are based on what's at Worlds as well, which now that we got the World's Strongest Man events is the case. But yeah, if you put, Europe's next to Brits and said, what would you like any day of the week, it would be Europe's. That's a good set of events for me.
It's kind of an unexpected opportunity because yeah, Brits didn't go how you wanted, and we'll touch on that later. But you kind of stayed in it, and yeah, how do you? Was it something you were expecting to come through, or was it?
Not really, because of my placing at Brits, and obviously, they don't want the whole lineup of Europe's being British, which is understandable. However, this year especially, is a bit of a weird one. Like it's so close to Worlds. I think it's the closest it's ever been to Worlds. Some people have picked up injuries, which is unfortunate, and yeah, it's just the way it's fallen. So no, I didn't expect it, but I did ask to be a reserve. I said, look, I'll train for it. I'll be ready because stick your name in the hat. You never know how it's going to go. And yeah, I'm always happy to be ready for a Giants live show. They're just epic. They're the ones I want to be doing. So to not get ready would be a silly thing to do. But yeah, it's just the way it's fallen this year, and I'm happy about it. No doubt about that.
That's something that I think a lot of people wouldn't perhaps understand is the right word. That Giants live shows almost always have athletes drop out. Athletes who have been announced, they drop out through injury and lots of other things. And so, because of that, they need reserves
Yeah.
to be ready at the last minute to jump in. And that's kind of where you were at, right? You were just ready to go if they need you, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think having that level of readiness is good, and that also that want and desire to be in the competitions. A lot of other people say, I can't remember where I saw it the other day. It was in a video. Someone made a really good point. They were like, if you stick yourself in front of the promoters, the organizers, and you basically go, hi, I'm here, I'm ready. I think it might be someone talking about Strongman Champions League or something similar. Um, but if you take those opportunities, like I did with the Shore Classic to go and qualify, it's like just go and stick yourself in, or at another qualifier. Even if you don't feel like it's the right competition to do, or you might not be pushing yourself, or you're pushing yourself too much. It's never a bad thing to just show face, and it's also never a bad thing to just tell someone that you're interested and will be ready for it. Because if at the last minute they're having a disaster, athletes are getting injured or can't get visas or whatever else, then it's all right. He showed interest. Let's throw him a bone and give him a chance because you never know what could happen. Like we saw it last year with a couple of people with surprising performances at competitions, and then they're right there on the scene, and you see it all the time in other federations as well. So yeah, be ready.
Well, the phrase is right place, right time.
Yep.
And that's what you've done, really. Is also, I should add, because you didn't say it, you are deserving of a spot at that level of a comp. You're not a guy who's, never performed well. You are
Yeah. Yeah.
on the bubble. You, with a better performance at Brits, would have easily got into Europe's.
Yeah.
So you're going to turn up, hold your own, and kick some ass, hopefully.
It is that, and it's also like it's yeah. There's levels to it, isn't there? Because if you just go randomly, like, and you haven't sort of showed any, I don't want to like be harsh to other people. Uh, if you haven't shown the ability to like be able to do that kind of level of show, then it's obviously a harder decision for the organizers, promoters to make. But if you are really strong in the gym, or you've done competitions before, you have performed or anything like that, then it is deserving. Obviously, I've been on the Giants Live circuit for uh what actually is a couple of years now, so it's and put together some decent performances, as well as other performances, international as well. So the proof's in the pudding. But yeah, you just gotta be ready and stick yourself in.
Yeah, let's not forget last year, fifth place at Britain's Strongest Man. Royal Albert Hall coming 10th, beating, two great guys and also up against some of the best in the world.
Yep.
Then winning the Shore Classic. You've got the pedigree and deserve your spot. So it's exciting.
It is exciting, and it's also like it's a difficult one for promoters and organizers, because it's like you want to give new and upcoming people the chance, but you also don't want to give them too much of a chance. It's sort of a healthy balance in between. And also it depends on the availability of athletes. Like, whilst the pool of athletes that we got at the moment is very large, and the pool of talent is huge now, not just in Britain, internationally, it doesn't necessarily mean that those people want to do the competition. Some people want to save themselves for World's Strongest Man this year, which we're seeing in the form of people like Andy Flynn, and a couple of the other European guys who are doing World's Strongest Man, who almost have said absolutely not to Europe's. And you see it with other competitions too. I know, for example, Lucas Hatton and I think Trey Mitchell aren't going to be at the Log Lift Championships later this year because it's a week away from Rogue. And, Rogue has a huge prize pot. It's a big competition. They both want to do well there. So they're going to be prioritizing that instead of, trying to build up their log to potentially hit the world record or get close to it. So it's, like you said, time and a place, and depends what the athletes want, depends how it falls. And sometimes it is just kind of luck as well.
Mm. How do you feel about the events? I know you've said they're better for you than the Brits events. I would obviously concur. But yeah, how do you feel about them? Where are the points there to be won?
Yeah, very good. So to run through, the events are the Webster Stone Walk to open up. Then it's 150 log for reps, 350 axle deadlift for reps, farmers walk into power stairs, and the lighter set of stones. That's the events. Um, yeah, really good. Apart from that horrible Webster Stone Walk, I've sort of finally tried it. I've done a little bit of like stone lifting with the handles and plates, not actual. I haven't done the Dinny stones, I haven't done the nickel stones, but yeah, it's horrible on your thumbs. But if we're talking about, you know on paper, those are far better events for me. No bag toss, no heavy yoke, no um we got stones in there. I love stones, especially the lighter set, and logs probably one of my, well, actually, I was thinking earlier, like, any overhead is good for me at this stage, to be honest with you, but 150 log is great. um, so yeah, I would, if I was called up, if I was going for it properly, I would think that those events are brilliant for me. And also, what I was meant to say was, if I then qualify for World's Strongest Man, I would be pretty confident with the events there as well, because they're so similar. So the carryovers there, which is brilliant.
Yeah, these events are spectacular for you. 150 log for reps. Is that what the log was at England's last year?
It was, yeah, it was 150 for reps,
And
which
you
is pretty
hit,
crazy that it's the same at Europe's as it was at England's. But again, they're trying to protect. It's about protecting the athletes. It's a smart decision because it's so close to World's Strongest Man. And in World's Strongest Man, it's a max log in the final. And I got 6 at England's last year on 150, and that was with a busted knee as well, because I badly damaged it on that shield carry. Then we had to do yoke, which I basically limped through, and then log. So yeah, we feel better probably for closer to 8 now. But it's just squeezing that amount of reps in 60 seconds. If it was 75, you got a bit more of a cushion. But trying to fit 8 or 9 reps in 60 seconds is really difficult. The only person we've seen do that recently is Jack Osborne. He obviously got 10 at England's, and he literally Viper one motioned 8 or 9 of them. So yeah.
Jack Osborne also did that and just stopped with about 10 seconds to go. So we could have
Yeah,
won one more.
just ridiculous power and strength, insane.
Mm. This might take you out of your comfort zone a little bit because you are traditionally quite humble and modest. Are we about to see a Paddy Haynes 2025 round two? Sneaking into Europe's with a reserve spot. No one expected it. Smashes Europe's, goes to Worlds, smashes Worlds.
I hope so. Could do. With those events, like, I am. Well, I wouldn't say I'm not necessarily humble. I'm very realistic, and I looked at the Brits events and was like, right, that's kind of stacked up against me. I look at these Europe's events and I go, as long as my thumb doesn't tear off on that Webster stone walk to open up, I can honestly see Europe's going very well. Um, but that's not to deny that the lineup there is extremely good as well, and it's actually pretty much a lot of the people I went up against Britons who beat me. However, the events are way better for me. So yes, we could do, and I hope so. But I've taken on a mindset coach recently, Alexandra Alexa, who was recommended to me by Emily. I've seen what brilliant work she's done with Emily, my partner, obviously, and we've been working on a few sort of mental strategies. And with this Europe's call up, we've tried to basically not mount as much pressure on it as I potentially did with Britain's, because I don't think it was a good idea. That combined with how I physically felt went really badly for me. Um, not that anything like fell apart. It just I didn't pay off at all. Like, I didn't feel fired up for it. I just felt a bunch of pressure, which is annoying. So I'm taking a slightly different mental approach to this competition, because I think I just compete my best when I have fun. You saw it at the Shore Classic. We just had a laugh. We were like, saying silly stuff to the camera and, eating American food and just being ridiculous. And then I switched on when I had to,
Mm,
and it went pretty well. So I'm going to basically try and take that approach, because nothing lost, nothing gained. If I bomb Europe's, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever, I'll go world's strongest man when I qualify for it. And basically just trying to see it as that, instead of like, I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And, because then you're just pulling all the fun out of it. And yeah, that would go, but that's going to go badly for me. And I think actually we've seen that in the past go really badly for others too. So
for sure. And yeah, obviously the Shore was awesome. I would obviously take a lot of credit for that because I was backstage just handling things,
the number one coach.
Number one coach. I'm unbeaten. If anyone needs advice or help, my red screen.
playing those mental games.
You just got to do what you got to do. You just mentioned then that yeah, there's people at Europe's that you're up against that beat you at Brits, but on a
Yeah.
completely different set of events,
Yeah.
and against a Ben who came in like CNS fried.
Yeah.
Poorly.
It
Um,
wasn't fully well.
Realistically, it's you versus Gav versus Graham Hicks for either a spot at Worlds if you finish high enough,
Yeah.
or to be the British reserve for Worlds, the person that would travel out in case someone gets injured.
Yeah.
How do you feel you stack up against those two guys with these events?
Better than Brits, that's for sure. Not writing off Graham and Gav, because they executed so well at Brits. Like, they were probably the best. Gav was the best he's been in like 2 years, and Hicksy was really on form, especially given that I know he event one didn't go how he wanted. Um, but on these events, I do think I stack up pretty good, and yeah, just way better than Brits overall. Way better, much more confidence behind me, which I think bodes well. Yeah, I also think it could potentially be a quicker show. Europe's like, with that weight on the overhead and the deadlifts. We could be looking quite a lot of reps across the board. So I think it would actually be, albeit it's meant to be a little bit lighter and obviously it's close to Worlds and stuff. I think it could still be a really tough show. So yes, better than Brits. That's my answer for sure.
Well, we saw you cook on the power stairs at Brits,
Yep.
and they're in again.
Yep, they are. Yeah, I've actually turned those into a strength, which is really good. I actually, if Power Stairs came up again, I'd be like, oh, I'm excited for that. It's a cool event, and I proved a lot to myself with that one, which I was really chuffed with.
Yeah, man. And the lighter set of stones is going to be, well, cakewalk.
Yeah, it should be. Obviously, hit a really good heavier stepstones at Royal Albert Hall last year. Feel like I've got my stone set up, like all sort of locked in. So I'd be hoping for a real good time there. Be probably wanting to one motion them all. Probably, I don't know. I need to figure it out. We need to do some training. Need to do some training on stones and see.
Do you think we'll see you training with Bish at all for this, or was that just for Brits?
I would like to. Yeah, Bish has got. Firstly, he's brilliant. Like, he's really good to train with. He's got a great brain to pick at. He's so ridiculous. I think people underestimate how experienced Bish actually is. he's been in the game for like 15 years professionally, not just doing strongman. So plus he's got a load of great kit. He actually has some of the Webster stones basically made up. So yeah, I'd love to do some training with Bish, and I'll be dropping him a message for sure.
Yeah, and get it on YouTube so we can all enjoy it.
100%.
Next up, next up, my son Josh, who loves you, obviously, he wants to be on YouTube, so he wants to ask you a question. Are you ready, Josh?
Yes, Josh, you're gonna be on YouTube.
Say it into the microphone.
How did you get on at Britain's Strongest Man, and what place did you come?
Thank you for the question, Josh. That was brilliant. You're gonna succeed your dad in interviewing skills, I'm sure. Britain's Strongest Man, I did okay. I came 7th place overall out of 12, which probably I wrote it on a post, and I think it's the best way to put it. Whilst it's not the placing that I wanted, it's probably the one that was always going to happen because everyone else executed beautifully. I didn't execute 100%, and it's just the way it fell. But there was a lot of positives to take away from Britain's Strongest Man for me. Especially, I didn't want to stand there making loads of excuses, but I didn't feel amazing. I came in with like a chest infection. I came in feeling pretty ill, pretty dead, and just got a few things wrong in my prep. So all things considered for that, 7th was okay, and I was happy with it.
Is that a good answer to your question, Josh?
Yeah, and being 7th is a low score for you because you would normally come like 3rd or 4th, wouldn't you?
That'd be good. So I mean, my best placing's 5th, but which was obviously last year. But 3rd or 4th would be an improvement, would be a goal for maybe some upcoming competitions. So we'll see, Josh. I thank you for your belief in me.
Well, Josh knows that you came first at the Shore Classic, you see.
I did.
And he's super happy about that. Thanks for your questions, Josh. That was awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, Josh. Bye.
Another thing we haven't touched on with Brit is the refereeing issue in event 1. Obviously, some time has passed, and my emotional response at the time, anyone sat near me would have definitely heard me shouting it. And it's not a response that you share. What happened with that? Obviously, you went to hit, you're on the dumbbell, you hit a rep, you got the down command. On camera, it looks like Magnus just turned around and walked off.
Yeah, so I think there was a bit of confusion with how the event went from Magnus's behalf, but he kind of pulled it back because he did time my second dumbbell. He just didn't give me like an official down command from it. So there was just a bit of confusion on how the event ran from his angle. It was dealt with. I think I commented on this on a big Loz post where people were mentioning it. It was dealt with extremely professionally by Magnus himself and also Darren Sadler, who obviously is the director of Giants Live. It didn't affect my score. I wasn't going to stand there having a tantrum about, a mistake and some confusion. And life goes on, like it didn't affect my score. And for that, I was happy. But yeah, I'm not sure if any of the other athletes would have been as calm as I was. But just like things happen, stay professional and, stay in your own lane. And it doesn't have to be some big drama. It's just a mistakes and confusion, and that's genuinely my honest thoughts on it. And hopefully it's rectified for next time, so it doesn't happen again or whatever.
Yeah, I guess we're all human, and things happen to everyone. I know, like something rolled into Graham Hicks's lane, didn't it, in the overhead, and things are going to happen.
We've seen loads of random stuff happen at Giants Live shows, but also other strongman shows like. You look back, when was it, in the 80s, where someone someone dropped their keg and it ended up landing on one of the other competitors, like nearly killed him. I think it was Kazmar and O.D. Wilson or something. Then we've had stones rolling off the mats with Tom Stoltman and Evan Singleton, and it was like, what happens in that scenario? And there's been all sorts of controversial and random crazy stuff happens. So it is just it's a wacky enough sport to where it's it's not exactly like out of the ordinary, is it? So yeah,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
just move on and be professional, and it was all dealt with, and that's that.
Yeah, I guess Flynn's first stone at World Tour Finals fell off.
It fell off the
Um,
platform, yeah.
I was talking to someone in an interview last week, I think, about do you remember Worlds? It wasn't the one that we went to. Bish made the final and he was up against I think it was Janasha in an overhead medley, and they'd been told that all the implements had to be done in a certain order.
Oh
And
yeah, yeah.
Bish did them in that order, but then they let everyone else do it in any order they liked.
Yeah, I think someone made a mistake with the order or something like that, and then obviously like it's too late to let people go again. We also saw it at the when was it? Smo maybe last year with the medley. They'd got the axle weights wrong, and you know Brian had to come out and apologize, and you let them go again, and it was like if they didn't get a better score, then they would just take their first score because a few of the guys ended up doing like a 400-pound axle when it should have been a 360-pound axle or something like that. So mistakes happen at any level. Yeah, I think it sounds really like cliche and cheesy, or whatever, but it's like I think it's how you react to them that kind of defines everything, doesn't it? So
For sure, man.
you know, you don't do hours of training and whatever weeks of prep to like stand there having a tantrum blaming everyone else. Like ultimately, it just things happen. Sometimes it's in your control, sometimes it's out of your control. Just crack on and see what you can do.
Yeah, man, play the cards you dealt. Thinking Brits, was it 2020? I know we were there when the log was, I don't know if it was misloaded. It was that log medley, and Bish
Yeah.
was the only person that kind of noticed it. So they all pressed a log that was uneven and it threw loads of them out.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was. I don't think it was misloaded in terms of the plates. I think maybe just the wood had dried out one side, so it was very wonky for everyone. So you know, but how are you meant to predict that until you see the top guys in Britain lifting it, and you're like, oh dear, that's wonky. You can't really know, can you? So
Mm.
yeah, stuff happens.
Rebecca Roberts at the Arnold, remember the whole liquid chalk thing? She went,
Yeah, she had to redo the whole frame run, and then she ended up getting a better time. So uh, yeah,
like you said, it's how you respond to it.
yeah, it absolutely is. Yeah.
You mentioned the world's events. Let's, play some theory crafting. Let's say we get there. Europe's goes amazing. You win, huge prize money, SPD bonus, lovely stuff.
Great.
Quick medical check and out to Worlds. How do you feel about the events? Because I don't think you've ever pulled a... No, you've pulled a truck once, haven't you?
I've actually pulled a few trucks and
Have
pulled a
you?
tractor as well at Paddy's. Yeah,
Tractors
yeah,
don't count.
yeah. Fair. I would say they're harder. That one was horrible. That was very heavy. Yeah, I've done a bit. I would need to get myself another pair of climbing shoes to do the truck pull. That's for sure. Because God knows where the other ones are. I think they're moldy in my garage somewhere. And they were too small. But yeah, the events would be good. Honestly, like that's like dream scenario, isn't it? So I think some of them I could rock up and like go and do like next week because I feel confident in them, and then some of them are going to require some prep time. But then it's like if I do well at Europe's, I've got 1 week of prep time. So yeah, I mean it might just have to be a bit of a YOLO. But yeah, well, as I said, like I'm trying not to mount any pressure. So that's just basically I'm just gonna laugh it off because it's like if I get to World's Strongest Man, that's like dream achieved anyway. And if I get to World's Strongest Man once, there's no reason as to why I can't do it twice. So be more prepared for next time. Do better late earlier than later, and then you won't have to worry about 1 week prep or whatever. But also it would be silly to not put in some sporadic training over the next few weeks for the potential scenario. I've started squatting again. That was nothing to do with World's Strongest Man, but obviously now they've got the Europe school up. It's probably going to go from like lighter rep squatting that I'm getting into right. Let's start ramping this up a little bit and making things a little bit more specific. Will I train for things like the truck pull? Probably not. Like that's a massive setup and time to be taken away from training. Will I try and train the relevant muscles and movement patterns? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to see.
With the squat, I guess most people don't know that your background really is in powerlifting. And obviously squat, bench, deadlift. So you've squatted a lot. You've squatted to depth. You've squatted to
Yeah.
IPF standards.
Yeah, I haven't squatted like 300 and whatever kilos it's going to be for reps on an axle bar in a squat suit and knee wraps, but I'm okay at squats and I actually really enjoy them as well. So, again, you just got to kind of trust your strength and go and find out. But the Worlds events are cool. I like that they've done some different stuff this year, to be honest with you. I like the squats in. They got that circus medley that we kind of did at Brits. And I don't know what the event details are, but I think it's going to be similar. And then, you know, a bunch of the other stuff is in Europe's anyway. So if I did qualify, I'd be 80% prepped for it anyway. It would just be the finer details, which, you know, but then I wouldn't be going there and coming last in my group and being like, oh, you know, this is ridiculous. I'd be like, well, yeah, fair enough. I didn't train one of the events, and the other I basically had 2 weeks to try and get good at. So, you know, I wouldn't be crying if it didn't go my way, because that's just how it is.
Well, yeah, and like, to be honest, you'd have a week, and we know some people that own giant trucks. We could speak to Seb at Gentle Giants and get a quick go on a truck or something.
Yeah, we could rig something up for sure.
Everything's achievable.
I think, what was it? I can't remember who. I think I say this with Shane, obviously my coach. There is a level of like readiness that you do need to have in strongman, like year round, or not necessarily year round, but like when there's competitions that you think you could be a part of going on, you need to have some form of readiness. Like, it shouldn't take you an 8-week prep to get ready for like one of the events, for example, a Giants Live. You know, maybe Arnold's Strongest Man on Earth type events, a little bit different. But there should be a general level of strength and readiness that you carry at all times. You know, if you're walking around as like wanting to be or one of the world's strongest men, and you can't do, you know, half the things without like a huge prep and all your creature comforts, like there's something to be said for that, I think, isn't there? So, yeah.
Yeah, man. And then, worlds aside, whether it happens or not,
Yeah.
what does the rest of the year look like in terms of comps? Anything scheduled in? I know there's a one at least.
Yeah. So England's Strongest Man in July. That would be a guarantee. Definitely doing that. And I'll be wanting to try and come and put, you know, up in my 4th position from last year. So podium will give up. And that's a phrase I've said to myself, is 200 kilo log will give up. I quite like it. Yeah, England's will be big. And then I also really want to try and do the Magnuson Classic. Because it's awesome. Like, it looks great. It's fun. I really want to go to Iceland. So I think we're gonna go to Iceland and get our trip in with Kieran, that you kindly got us for our 30th birthdays. And we're going to potentially spend the couple of days that we're out there watching me try and get a spot at the MVM. But yeah, you know, that's a cool comp that I'd love to do. And then if anything else pops up that's decent, I will do it 100%. There is a show that's coming out. I don't think the details have been released yet, from Global Strongman, which is run by the guys behind Unbreakable Promotions, who obviously do the weight class qualifying stuff and the English Open to get the people to qualify for England's Strongest Man. They're setting up a big, heavy, pro paid show. So I'm probably going to be a part of that as well. I think that's late September. Just because I really like those guys. I like what they're trying to do. And it's all sort of under the same roof, so to speak. So, yeah. England's Global Strongman Show, Magnuson Classic, is my plans. If anything else comes up, there's a great opportunity. If there's another Giants Live opportunity, I'll take it at the drop of a hat.
Well, I'm sure the winner of Europe's Strongest Man will probably be invited to like World Tour finals. So that could be you, you know?
Maybe we'll see, eh?
Why the hell not?
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking before we jumped on is that, like, you and I have been to loads of different strongman shows, you know, Rogue a couple of times, Worlds, like UK Arnold.
Yeah, we've been sponsored now.
Which one's your favourite of all the ones we've been to?
We've been to a lot. We've obviously done SMO. We've done, UK Arnold's. We've done 2 Rogue Invitationals, both in Texas and Aberdeen. We did World's Strongest Man 2022, and we did that Giants Live in Wembley back in like 2019, and we did Britain's Strongest Man 2020.
Don't forget the Spanish Arnold.
Oh yeah, that was
in
lit.
Madrid.
Yeah, we've actually done a lot and seen a lot, which is pretty crazy. I've gone from like fan to competitor, which is just nuts. But that's for another video. My favorite was probably that World's Strongest Man 2022, because it was in California. It was in the stack. It was just great. Like, you know, going to World's Strongest Man, strolling in, getting a free can of rain, like watching a couple of events. Right, guys, there's a big break. we would go off and get on a scooter and go to a diner and get, filthy American breakfast, come back, watch some more events. I felt like you were quite up and close to the athletes as well. Like they were quite available that year, and then it sort of turned into a bit more of like a serious professional thing. It was very laid back that year. I think that was the last year of just like free entry and stuff. And we were going out and getting snow cones from the trucks that were there, and just sitting in front of the cooling fans, and it was just great. Like it was fun to be a fan. It was a fun experience in general, and I have a load of good memories from it. But that's definitely the standout for sure. That was really good.
That was epic. And like, it was just so random walking past Alan Thrall and like loads of people.
Yeah.
And then like, I stood next to a fan for a while with some, like, respectfully, some old guy. And I walked back and you were like, oh my God, you were just stood next to, and I can't even remember his name. Ode
Haugen.
Yeah, like
Absolute,
huge name in the strongman.
Grip legend, like Martine's his coach. And
Yeah, and I had no idea who he was. And the glory of meeting Manuel Angulo.
Your favorite strongman, yeah, Matt Angulo strongman.
He was so happy to be there.
It was just a great trip as well. Like it was really good. I do love America, so yeah. God, I hope I get World's Strongest Man just to go to America again. I just love it.
I also loved the Rogue at the Dell Diamond, because like that was such a cool environment, and we went to the gun range.
It was great. We got very unlucky with the weather. That was like the 1 week ever that Texas like has absolute like torrential rain. Do you remember?
Yeah.
Which led to a bit of a disaster with like the viewing of some events and stuff. But it was superb overall.
It led to Trey Mitchell tearing his Achilles.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, yeah, crazy. Whatever happened to that bull pull event thing? That was very strange. Someone said it might be like the wood expanding, or maybe they just got it wrong. But yeah, we've done quite a lot of strongman shows, But I think it's always good to go get stuck in, watch them. I always say to people, come and watch the Giants live. Like if you haven't watched the Giants live, that's probably the one where like it's the most showy. It's such a spectacle. They do all the the video intros and like recently the violin and the drama of it and the fireworks and the pyros and everything. It's just really cool to watch. So get yourself to a Giants live. It's an evening of fun. Some of the others are obviously a little bit slower paced, but depends what you like.
Yeah, like in boxing, what's he called? Is he called Bruce something? The Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy. People always say that like it's not a boxing show unless he's there. And it's like strongman. It's Bruce Buffer.
Bruce Buffer, that's it. Yeah.
And his brother, whose name I can't remember, does the UFC.
Yeah.
I don't think they knew they were brothers or something, and they both ended up like, it's crazy. But yeah, it's almost like it's not a strongman show unless like Neil pickups on the mic. And like Collins running around like a madman.
Yeah, it's just, exactly. It is that, you got all your traditions, and like as a sort of first time fan, you might not see them, but there's plenty of people who are repeat viewers of Giants Live. There's people I've seen in like the VIP stuff who've come multiple times, and you actually get a little bit friendly with, and it's very, very good. The Giants Live team is brilliant as well. It's quite close near. Everyone's like a big family, and they're seriously fun, and that's how strongman's going to keep growing. So
yeah, man, I love all the events we've been to, and like the random people you meet. Like, do you remember those? Were they Dutch? Those two guys at Worlds in the big hat, and like make best friends with them. And then,
they were so nice as well.
That American guy, Dave, like
Big Dave, yeah. We met a bunch of people.
That's like the cool thing.
Yeah.
Finish us up then. We've never done the Build a Dream Strongman piece with you, but there's a caveat. They've got to be British, so they've got to be active and British. And you need a deadlifter, someone's overhead, but it's well-rounded overhead, not just log or not just axle. So it could be, there's dumbbells, everything. Someone's loading medley, someone's stones, someone's grip, someone's mindset, and someone's body who's jacked. Also, they've got to be open. I don't want you bringing in some weight class people.
Okay, fine. Luckily, the pool of talent in open pro strongman in Britain is very good, so I'm not going to be short of options, which is cool.
You can pick yourself, but only once.
So everyone only once, and myself only once. Okay,
so cool. Give us a British deadlifter.
Yeah, I mean it's between two people really. I'm gonna give it to.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Paddy Haynes. Yeah, I'm going to give it to Paddy Haynes. The only other person who would have said is Adam Bishop, but I'm going to save him for one of the later answers. Actually, um, yeah, I mean that's arguable, but I'm gonna, Paddy won the deadlift at Britain's Strongest Man, and he's pulled 1,000 pounds, so I'm going to go with Paddy. Yeah.
Fair. Yeah, good shout. I forgot about Paddy at Brits.
Yep.
Okay, who's overhead?
Luke Stallman.
Nice, fair.
Yeah, Luke Stallman.
That's fair. Loading medley, and it could be sandbags or awkward objects or car engines or whatever.
Yeah.
You've already picked Paddy.
Yeah, and there's a couple of
hang
others.
hang on. I know someone at Brits last year who Paddy only chipped by a little bit in the.
Yeah,
loading.
I'm just sort of thinking through the other options because I don't want to use them up. Yeah, I would actually put myself. I like a loading medley. I won the one at the Shore Classic. I've come top 3 or 4 at England's on them, and third last year at Brits. So yeah, myself.
Fair. I'd forgotten about the loading medley at Shaw.
Yeah.
Decent. Stones. Who's your stone lifter?
Tom Stallman, just hands down, Tom Stallman.
Writes itself. Who's grip?
Um,
Even though we've seen someone retire a few times, I believe he's still active.
Yeah, legit. Yeah, you probably could give that to Mark Felix still. To be honest with you, he is still active in Masters competitions. I would say it's got to be Mark Felix.
If it wasn't Mark, who else?
If it wasn't Mark Felix, I would probably go with who else has a huge grip? There are a couple of guys actually. Some guys with some really impressive grip. Maybe someone like Flynn. Honestly, like it wouldn't be people's first answer necessarily, but he won the Farmers at Brits last year, and his grip.
His wrecking ball hold really good last year?
Yeah, he's had a really big time on a wrecking ball hold, which led to his World Tour final third place. Really, in the end, it really cinched it for him. And then he won the Farmers at Brits last year. So I think Flynn's grip has shown itself to be superb. So yeah, I picked Flynn, but Mark Felix, the boy, has got to be picked for number 1.
Fair. Whose mindset? Who's got that killer?
Bish. Yeah, Bish and his mindset is brilliant. He's methodical. He's thought out. His preparations are like second to none detail. Both in lead ups, in training, and at the competition itself. Bish is killer mindset. So that's why I went with him for that instead of the deadlift. Because honestly, if there was anyone else's mindset that I'd want, it would be Bish's, or my own, because I think my own is pretty good. But yeah, Bish's is tried and tested, so go with him.
Nice. Final one. Who's jacked? Whose body? You've already used Flynn.
Yeah. Callum Crozier.
Yeah, fair.
He's got like 22-inch arms. I really shouldn't be boosting his ego giving him that, but yeah, Cal Crozier looks really good. So
he lives a long way away. Like
he does, yeah. He's basically an international, but yeah, we'll give it to Callum. He's got those big old biceps.
What a strong man you've built. Well, mate, full steam ahead for Europe's. Let's go. Let's knock Gav and Graham Hicks out of the way and head off to Myrtle Beach.
That would be a dream scenario, eh? We'll do our best, and looking forward to preparing for it and seeing what happens as always.
Wilder things have happened. Cheers, mate.